All right, the things in your relationship, there's 5 common relationship problems that they're saying stupidly easy to fix. The most common problems quickly are jealousy with your partner's ex.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah, they say they said this is the most common problem in a relationship and is pretty normal.
Wow.
Okay.
It says, but jealousy can make you think of bad things, do bad things, and say things that would hurt your partner. I think it just depends on. I think as long as that partner's not involved. Look, I mean, in my situation, when I got remarried to Kelly, it was like, do not talk to Heather. And I was like, but I have to co-parent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when a group text, I'm like, I am not going to. But, you know, which I could kind of understand a little bit because you were married before.
Yeah.
But what was turned it around was her ex a lot better looking and, you know, better off than you?
What do you think?
I don't understand the question. I said, Kelly asked me not to speak to Heather.
What?
Jason wants to know if Kelly dated better looking people than you before you.
So you would feel jealous.
yes,
you would
of
feel
course.
jealous.
Yeah.
Like, were
Yeah,
you
that's
But
jealous?
I didn't care. I didn't care at all. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't care at all. She was the one that was jealous. She didn't want me talking to Heather.
Right.
Okay.
I get that. I was
Yeah.
saying the other
My
way.
bad. I'm
was-
sorry. I was like, wait, did you misunderstand what I was saying?
He's trying to make you feel bad.
Yeah. No, of
I
course.
wasn't. I wasn't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was trying to establish if he was jealous because even if the person was good looking and better well off, that could. Cause I thought you mentioned one time before you were at some kind of beach and you had to take your shirt off and
Oh, yeah.
all the friends were really
All the
good looking.
friends.
I didn't know if
well,
that was an
Kelly
ex.
is 10 years younger than me.
Mhm.
And so we went to this lake thing, and then like all her friends were like in good shape. And then we had to go to some wedding where her ex-boyfriend, the one that got away or whatever.
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, he's taller, better looking than me. I don't know about.
But you weren't jealous.
No, because it was like, well, maybe if he lived down the street and they ran, but I mean, he
Right.
lived far away and he was married and stuff. But yeah.
Okay.
But no, I think if have I been jealous of people's exes? If they're somehow weirdly involved, I think it's more of a trust issue thing, though.
So what's the
Yeah,
simple thing
yeah.
that you're supposed to do to fix it? Not be jealous?
Just don't be jealous. Done.
That's easy.
Give it a ding.
That's simple enough.
Well, it's part of the.
We're going to go through the things that are common and then how to fix all of them with 3 things.
I see.
So these 3 things cover all these 5 things. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
I
Okay.
gotcha.
The
Okay.
second most common thing, or one thing that happens that can mess up your relationship, no time to communicate. So busy. I mean, who doesn't feel like they're busy? With your careers, with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, and then there are also clingy partners who will make an issue if their partner forgets to text them in a day or all day long.
No, but I can totally see if you're too busy because you have to set some priorities, in my opinion.
No, I mean, it's hard. I have always been like, believe it or not, in relationships, an over communicator. So like I in my mind, because I do that, I think other people do that, and I'm like, why aren't they responding?
Mhm.
Like I respond when they text me. Why aren't they? You know, you get kind of, but I understand that the way I communicate is not normal.
Yeah. I think you're an over communicator in general, not just in relationships.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I get flack on the show like, you responded with saying K. I'm like, well, at least I responded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I over communicate in every aspect of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
It can be.
It can be.
Yeah,
No, I think overall
Depending on
it's
the
a good.
situation,
I think it's a good thing, but it can be a bad thing.
Yeah.
So no time to communicate. We'll get a solve for that. Lack of affection. Jason, you want to talk about that? I'm not
What?
saying that you have any lack of affection. Do you have an opinion on
I mean, I
lack of
try
affection?
for it.
I'm not saying.
I try to be. I mean, it takes 2, you know. So at times it's I can see that being an issue because if you're not focused and you're not at least acknowledging and trying for that, that can be an issue.
It can be a huge issue, and I've been, one of my marriages was definitely that way, where it seemed like there's this very lack of, and I'm not, whatever, it's fine now, but it's just like for long periods of time, like nothing. You're just like,
That's no good. That's death. To
Yeah.
I've read read all these different things over the courses of my life of all different counseling, therapies, the way you should be, this and that. One of the big things is when you're not paying attention to that, and that goes by the wayside, and it's just you start going down a dark tunnel, and it's the ultimate death of the relationship.
I agree. Ladies, you listening? Katie's not here to fight back. Fear of being cheated on is the 4th most common reason that relationships break down. Just the fear of it. They think their partner is cheating on them, even if they have, even if they're not. And
The
then
problem
that's
was with
rough.
that, if you're totally concentrating and accusing and this and that, I mean, it's one thing every once in a while just to like kind of ask, but if you're if you're constantly accusing, it's going to create so much turmoil because my thought is if they're going to do it, And just because you're accusing or, wait a minute, stopping this situation, is it really preventing it in the long term? Probably not. They're going to do it anyways if that's the type of person they are.
That is the thing. That is the thing. If they're going to cheat, they're going to cheat no matter what. I mean, boundaries, every therapist or relationship person will tell you boundaries are healthy and important. But so you should still set the boundaries, not just do whatever you want, but set boundaries. But if someone's going to cheat, they're going to cheat.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think I never really had a fear of being cheated on until I was cheated on.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah,
once
now
it
that's the only thing I
happens,
think about.
yeah, right. Then that's all you worry about.
That's all you worry about.
Sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I was cheated on years ago, and that's always been in the back of my mind. And then when it happened, you know, and so it's like, yeah, so now it's in my mind, at least if you're, you know, with that person still. And then the number 5 reason, Jason, just tune out. This doesn't apply to you. Things that are common relationship issues that can be easily solved, which we'll solve them in a minute. Money issues.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting about money, who's spending the more money.
I can totally see it.
Yeah.
So there's a solution to all of these.
I mean, they say.
Yeah, what are the super things you can do to protect these disastrous,
He just sounds like problems we have to live with that we'll never solve.
Yeah, turmoil, issues about being together.
3 simple things to fix these issues. Don't get married. Don't get married. Don't get married. All right. You want to move on?
All right. Yeah.
No, but seriously, learn how to be more confident. This is according to relationship experts. If you have low self-esteem, you'll become an insecure person. So the first step is to accept who you are and embrace your flaws, realizing that nobody is perfect. And they say appear to be confident. Present yourself well by making time for your hygiene, dress well in clothes that make you feel good about yourself. Maybe not clothes that look good on other people. I've done that before. I'm like, if I wear this suit, I'm going to feel good. And I'm like, it's tight. It doesn't look right.
Not on me.
And then focus on your best attributes.
So you're saying, how does that help with all these, just because you're confident and maybe you're just going to be not accusing about cheating?
Well, I think a couple of those have a lot to do with your own insecurity.
Yeah.
So if you're not insecure about yourself, you're going to be more confident. You're not going to have those concerns.
I see.
And then maybe if you're insecure and your partner's feeling you're insecure and you're like, we don't have any, you don't love me and there's no affection my way, they might get defensive and then it's like counterintuitive, but then they give you less affection.
Well, what happens if it's true?
I'm saying you should bring it up.
Yeah.
You should definitely bring it up. You should definitely talk about it. But if it becomes an insecurity and you become needy, that can also be a turnoff. It's like a fine line. I mean, not for guys.
I mean, if the relationship has no affection, you're mentioning it. Is that really insecure?
No, that's not insecure at all. Actually, I think it takes secure. I think it takes someone secure to bring up a vulnerable thing.
Yeah, I think if you were insecure, you would just be like, well, this is just how it's going to be.
Yeah, like they think
This is what I deserve.
They've seen me naked, so I guess this is what it's going to be like. But focus on the positive things. But confidence is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, because it's coming up, but the Super Bowl is like, you look at the people in the Super Bowl, they're confident players. They're confident coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confidence, and then you can see a team like the Lions, they start losing confidence in a game, and then everything goes to crap. I know it's a bad sports analogy, but it's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Confidence affects everything you do. I've been in meetings before where I felt confident, and it's more productive. I maybe share more ideas, and I go in sometimes where I'm not, or I feel like it's not for me, and it's just the total opposite.
And I think if you're in a relationship and the other person is constantly acting insecure, that's going to be exhausting for you.
Yes,
right.
It is. Yeah,
because you're going to have to constantly just reinforce it, and you're going to get tired of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually. You know, if you have problems, there's going to be a time where you have to build it back, which is the second thing. Build trust with your partner.
The second thing
Of how to fix these common relationship issues. Build trust with your partner, and that's a hard thing. It's kind of like credit.
you said these are supposed to be simple, Jared.
Simple concepts. Build trust with your partner, yes. You know, it's like building credit. It takes forever to build credit, but you don't pay a bill for 90 days, it goes to crap.
Right.
But it's a cornerstone of every healthy relationship. If you do not trust your partner, you will never be at ease in your relationship.
Yeah, I think insecurity and trust go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more secure you are and confident, the more likely you are to trust, because what's that confidence? The confidence in yourself and the relationship.
And I think the more you trust somebody, too, the more vulnerable you are okay being around that person.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, Jared, the fact that you said you've been cheated on a couple of times, how do you get over that? How do you trust? How do you learn to trust?
I think it's very difficult. I think either you leave that relationship, but if you're going to try to make it work, then I think you give them opportunities to build the trust back because it's been destroyed. So they have to show you, which, you know, that's also like, how long do they have to prove it to you?
So you're saying that you got to trust and you expect them to show by what their actions are that you can trust them, right?
Right.
At the same time, I believe that I think they say like in a counseling session that if there was any issues with anybody in the past or locations or anything like that, that person, the person that did the cheating or whatever, should be proactive.
Right.
And avoid that person completely, entirely, and the location that they're in.
Right, exactly.
100%. And then no matter what, forever.
Right.
Forever.
And never bring that person up, never allude to that person, never be in situations where that person could be.
Or be straightforward if there's any possibility of any type of thing that could be perceived as anything.
Right. And it is, and you're right, Jason, because in therapy I learned that too. The onus is on the person who cheated to prove to you, not you like having to ask them.
Yes, it's the other
They should
person.
be like, I'll do whatever it takes.
And that's the action.
Yeah. And if someone does that, then, you know, then you can make it work. They're going to prove it to you. They're being proactive and they want to do it. And Jason, like you said earlier, talk to your partner, be open with each other. That's how you build trust. You know, and that's not just about cheating, but anything. If you're open and you're talking about things, those are and that is simple. You can be, as far as talking, just tell people what you think. And sometimes we're scared to do that because we're worried about their reaction.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time. I'll choose not to say anything just in fear of confrontation, just to enjoy the peace.
Right.
Yeah, which can backfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very honest thing. I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
I do it too.
Yeah.
We're like, well, if I bring this up, it's going to cause a fight, but not because it should, but you just know it's not going. It's going to go that way. And the third thing, they say it's a simple thing, is decide to let things go. We all have a choice to either dwell in the pain or let it go. So commit to letting it go. Stop reliving the past or entertaining the story running in your head that may or may not be true. Some are true, some are not.
I've always had a weird question about this. A lot of times they say, well, don't be bringing up the past all the time in arguments, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's considered the past? Last weekend? Because that's what it turns into if you don't want to talk about it. Like, oh, don't bring up the past. That happened yesterday.
Yeah. It happened this morning.
Last weekend. No, well, yes. I think they were referring to a while ago.
A while ago, and I also think it's like if it's something you've talked about that you've resolved,
yes,
then you throw it back in their face. Well, you did this, you did that. I mean,
so
unless they're
resolved.
doing it again, then it kind of comes back up. But yeah, once something's resolved, going back that way is not good.
Got it.
And then Tony Robbins, who's a motivational speaker and all this stuff, he's worth like $500 million. He's really big on like, you gotta not focus on the negativity of the past. Learn from it, but don't live there. It's already happened.
Yeah.
Just take what you learned and move forward. Like, keep moving forward and doing the best you can. So to recap, none of this is going to work, but no.
5 simple, which turned out into be kind of simple, hard at times.
Yeah.
I think they're hard to do, but they're easy, simple concepts.
Simple concepts to understand. Build trust with your partner, being open with them. Learn to be more confident, and decide to let things go. If you can really do that, but then, you know, and if someone continues to treat you poorly, then you have to make a decision at some point, whether or not you want to be with that person. So I hope that helps. Squid, are you in any sort of relationship at all?
No. I'm
Okay.
not. No.
Smart man.
Single as a Pringle.
No, just kidding.
What about you?
Yeah.
You are? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's dating Anna.
Yeah.
We've all heard of that.
ANNA.
She was actually on the air, so we all know that. That was a weird question.
We were not we were together, then we were not together, and then we got back together recently. Like it's been off and on, I should say, for quite some time, but we've really tried to commit to.
And they're shopping for rings.
When we, my mother,
no denial, just laughs.
when my mother-in-law and I saw y'all together at that play, I think at one point y'all got up to go to the bathroom, and she said, "I didn't know he was dating somebody." I'm like, "Well, he wasn't, but now they are." I'm just gonna send you a podcast.
Yeah, I'll send you a podcast.
I'm just gonna send you a podcast that explains it. It's a lot.
Yeah, some people like comment on Facebook like, "Are y'all back together? What happened?" I'm like, I don't have like a year to, and I don't have time to write a novel to explain it. But yes,
Here's a link.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, that's where we were trying to make it work. Like I forgave something that she did, and it's like not easy to do. And then she's saying, "I'll do whatever it takes to make it work." Okay.
And I think that's a good example too, Jason. You're talking about not bringing up the past. That's something that Jared, if he can't in a year bring it back up.
I get that, but I think at this point, I would want to, in my world, I would want to see very, very proactive,
Yes.
making you feel like you can trust that person no matter what, being very proactive. And if something is concerning at this point, I don't think it's out of the question to say, hey, this makes me feel uncomfortable because of what happened.
Right.
Because it's not that far in the past.
No.
No,
Right.
I agree, but I'm just saying he can't. I just said in a year he
Yeah,
can't
a
continue
year.
to garner this and hold this over her head.
No, and I don't want to.
Because that's not fair to either
Right,
of you. Because
right.
you're going to be miserable and she's going to be miserable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
that's
don't
true.
want to. And because also I know when I mess up too. If I make a mistake or say the wrong thing and apologize and do the stuff to make sure, hey, like I didn't mean it that way. That's usually how I get in trouble. I say stuff I shouldn't say, or it's like a
Over communicating.
yes or whatever. Then I want to be forgiven too when I make a mistake. Doesn't mean you have to be with the person, but so
Oh, well, in your case, Jared, God forgives everything, so you're good.
yes.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
murder's a little difficult, but yeah, it can be, I guess.